The time is now 10 a.m. and this is WKYT Midmorning. We have new details emerging in the case against two people charged in connection to a Lexington fatal shooting.
The Army confirms a Fort Campbell soldier has been killed in the Middle East.
And a nation remembers it has now been 15 years since the 9/11 attacks.
This is WKYT Midmorning.
Good morning and welcome to Midmorning from WKYT on Monday, September 12th. I'm Bill Bryant.
And I'm Barbara Bailey. You know, the weekend was a little mix of everything, some really gorgeous weather and also some storms, but I hope everybody got what they needed to do in.
Absolutely, and it seemed that it was the kind of thing you could work around.
Yes.
Beautiful Monday. Let's check in with meteorologist Micah Harris.
Yeah, we are definitely piggybacking off of what we had Sunday. Sunday was phenomenal. We had that front move through and left us with bright blue skies. We're doing it all over again today. Things look fantastic. Warming very rapidly. We're in the 60s and 70s across town. 70 now in Moorhead. 65 now in London. We get into your afternoon, we're in the low to mid 80s. And so we're getting a little bit warmer, but the humidity is not coming along with it. It actually feels really nice. Now we'll get off into the next few days, stay mainly dry, but we do have some rain chances here and there. We'll get into that in just a few minutes.
And we'll see you shortly. Thank you.
First, this mid-morning, new information is emerging today in the case of two people accused in a Labor Day murder in Lexington.
A man left in a parking lot. 28-year-old Daniel Glasscock and 22-year-old Destiny Huff are being charged with murder and robbery. Investigators determined that Huff and Glasscock were involved in a drug deal with the victim, Victor Willem Gomez Duarte, when the victim was shot on Labor Day morning just outside the Microtel off Winchester Road near Interstate 75. Huff was with the victim when he died and told police who the shooter was. But still, she is charged. That's because police say prior to the shooting, she called the victim and then called the suspects as well. Phone records show she called multiple suspects several times after the shooting as well. The victim died Wednesday at UK Hospital. Glasscock and Huff will go before a judge later today. Deputies in southern Kentucky are investigating a deadly crash involving a child.
The Russell County Sheriff's Office says Jessica Warrener was crossing Kentucky 379 at French Valley Road over the weekend when she crashed after pulling in front of a truck. Emergency crews rushed Warrener and her 3-year-old daughter, Chloe Fortenberry, to hospitals in Nashville. Chloe died yesterday. Police say Warrener suffered non-life-threatening injuries. A man suspected of firing shots in a Scott County subdivision is in jail after a chase. Georgetown police say the suspect fired 4 to 5 rounds near the Colony subdivision. Police say when they found the suspect, he sped off, hitting 2 cars. The driver then crashed on Delaplane Road, and his car caught fire. His name and charges he's facing have not yet been released.
A Kentucky toddler was rushed to the hospital overnight in critical condition after being shot. It happened in Louisville in the Algonquin neighborhood. Police say the 3-year-old boy was shot inside a home. They're still trying to piece together all of the details. The U.S. Defense Department has confirmed that a Fort Campbell soldier died over the weekend in Kuwait. The department says 25-year-old First Lieutenant Jeffrey Cooper, who was from Washington, died from a non-combat related injury Saturday. A Louisville TV station says Cooper was killed in a rollover accident. He was assigned to the 502nd Infantry Regiment at Fort Campbell, Kentucky.
Friends of a Kentucky National Guardsman found dead in a burning car in Lexington are hoping for justice. Lexington police found Trevor Dilger's body in a car just off Old Frankfort Pike more than a week ago. The coroner has ruled Dilger's death a homicide. Last night, his friends gathered at Triangle Park to remember him.
This to me is everything. This is what I think that we need more of. People coming together and speaking to one another and just being there for one another.
The coroner has not released information on Dilger's cause of death. No arrests have been made. A 9/11 tribute lit up New York for the 15th anniversary of the attacks.
The tribute of lights consists of 88 beams forming the shape of the Twin Towers, and thousands attended a memorial service at Ground Zero where family of the victims read each name aloud. There were also memorial services at the Flight 93 National Memorial in Shanksville, Pennsylvania, and at the Pentagon outside of Washington. President Obama addressed the crowd there, urging Americans to stand together.
Kentuckians across the Commonwealth paid their respects to those who lost their lives on 9/11. ROTC students at the University of Kentucky placed 2,977 flags on campus for each person killed in the terrorist attacks. An 8-hour reading of the victims' names followed.
They announced a couple different women, and they would say the woman's name and then her unborn child. And my son said, "Mommy, why would somebody be so mean to kill somebody who was pregnant?"
Smith said it was important to help kids understand what happened on September 11th, 2001. She tells us her children were not alive when the tragedy happened, but they'll be able to learn from history.
And ROTC students at Eastern Kentucky University also held a memorial service to honor the lives lost 15 years ago. Dozens gathered to listen to community officials talk about the importance of remembering and serving the country. University President Dr. Michael Benson addressed the crowd on what the anniversary meant to him. And EKU junior and ROTC member Corey Wheat organized the event. An iconic 9/11 flag that disappeared shortly after the terror attacks has a surprising Kentucky connection that's been revealed.
The flag came from a yacht docked near the World Trade Center. Lexington developer Dudley Webb once owned that yacht. It was part of a 7-boat dinner cruise chain, and he says he bought the flag at a marina in Jamestown. The flag eventually showed up in Washington in 2014. It is now displayed inside the National September 11th Museum. You can track the flag's journey by clicking on this story on WKYT.com. Well, a former UK standout defied the National Football League with his own 9/11 tribute.
Tennessee Titans linebacker Avery Williamson was told that he could not wear a pair of cleats that commemorated the 15th anniversary of the attacks, but the former Wildcat wore them anyway. The Titans general manager and his coach both backed his decision. The design on Williamson's cleats was done by True Blue Customs in Lexington. Williamson says he plans to auction them off to benefit Operation Warrior Wishes. Hillary Clinton is taking a break from campaigning after her doctor announced that she is battling pneumonia. The diagnosis was revealed after a cell phone video showed aides propping Clinton up and helping her inside a van as she left the 9/11 anniversary ceremony early in New York City. The medical incident has renewed concerns about the health of the Democratic presidential nominee.
The heroin epidemic in our region has skyrocketed within the past couple of weeks. It's so bad that one group is now demanding action from state officials in Ohio. The anti-heroin and opium group in Ohio demanded their state's governor declare a medical state of emergency. The rally comes after a storm of overdoses in Cincinnati. The ODs brought more than 170 emergency room visits in a 6-day span. The group wants Governor John Kasich to maximize resources to support law enforcement. They're also asking for more money for detox centers and sober living houses. Well, you can expect to see crews back at Centerpoint in downtown Lexington this week.
That's the word. WKYT spoke to developer Dudley Webb, who tells us the project is still on schedule despite some delays. He says the board needed to approve some new changes to the project, and those have now been sent on to contractors for pricing. He expects the garage will be completed next spring. And we ask Webb what we can expect to see next.
Well, I think you're going to see probably they'll start on the eastern third of the block, and that'll come up to street level with the garage, and that'll build to the west. And the reason for that is the tower crane swing. One of the tower cranes has to do both the hotels as well as the office building, so we'll start with the office building first because it needs to be ready soonest.
Back in July, Webb showed us these updated designs for the above-ground portion of the project. It includes a 10-story office tower, an 18-story Marriott hotel, and a 12-story Marriott Residence Inn. Crews demolished and cleared that downtown Lexington block 8 years ago. So we'll see how it all goes. We're obviously keeping track of it.
That's right, and work expected to begin again this week.
Right.
Well, keep it here on Mid-Morning. We'll take you to Argentina to show you some folks who went to great lengths and distances to show you just how much they love pizza.
And also the new Tom Hanks movie about the miracle on the Hudson is a hit. Early reviews of Sully are outstanding.
Anything with him in it is outstanding. We're looking at this forecast, outstanding as well, not only today, but the next couple of days. I'll show you when we have rain chances. They're not really that much in the forecast. But I'll have that coming up next.
Now, your zone-by-zone forecast with meteorologist Micah Harris.
It's a good look outside with a lot of sunshine, and it feels really, really nice. Now, we're traveling towards your afternoon. Yes, it's going to be a little bit warmer than the past couple of days, but the humidity's still down. So there's some good news for us. Frankfort looks just fine. Jackson over in Breathitt County, as you're overlooking the Valley region, things look fantastic. We're 72 now in Lexington, 70 in Moorhead. Rest of us in the mid to upper 60s, 68 coming in now in Frankfort. We get into your afternoon and we'll be right around 83. And like I said, it's going to be 4 to about 5 degrees higher than yesterday. Yesterday was perfect. Today's not going to be perfect, but it's going to be close to it because humidity's still way down and mostly sunny skies. You just can't beat days like yesterday and today. Go throughout the next few days. Here's what's happening. Huge zone of higher pressure back toward our northeast. And what that does is it just funnels in that cooler, dry air down from the Appalachians into our viewing area because we're getting those winds out of the east and northeast, and it's feeling really nice. So warming temperatures will be with us, but that doesn't mean humidity is going to jump. That just means the temperatures are going to rise. So humidity stays relatively low. It's really not all that bad the next couple of days, and above average temperatures will be with us, average being roughly 80 degrees. Now, it's going to be mainly dry each and every single day, but you can see temperatures there by Wednesday in the mid-80s. That's a good 6 to 7 degrees above average. But like I was talking about, still humidity down just a bit. There's not a lot of moisture with us the next few days, and that means that I keep away from those chances of rain. Wednesday, slight chance, I'd say for Thursday as well. On Friday, there you go with that small chance of rain in the forecast at 30%, meaning most of us stay dry. We just can't roll out that chance of rain. So the next few days really look mainly calm and quiet. I really don't see much of an interesting or active pattern anytime soon. Really, you got to get towards your Saturday to have the best chance of rain, and that's still at 40%. You'll see that bumped up, in the days to come. I just hit you, I'm sorry, Barb. In the days to come, you'll see that bumped up just a bit on Saturday. Saturday is your best chance of rain in the forecast, just like this past Saturday when you had those storms roll on through. But Barb, you got your event in. I remember it started on Monday. You said, you got to tell me. And it was every day, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Yes. What's it going to be on Saturday?
I know. You even called me from Michigan to reassure me. You're so good. Yes. Love it. Love
it worked out for a lot of people,
yeah.
too.
Perfect.
There were
Yes.
lots of events over the weekend. Hope everybody enjoyed it.
That's right.
Well, pizza lovers gathered in Argentina for a walking and eating race through some of the city's best pizza places.
Let's take a look here. Nearly 600 pizza lovers, some with pizza-shaped hats and wigs, took part in the pizza marathon. Every racer had to eat one slice of pizza in each of the 8 restaurants that took part in the marathon. If being in the race didn't show you how much you love pizza, you could also have been voted the 2016 King of Pizzas. And we don't know exactly who walked away with that illustrious title, but somebody.
Well, you know, after they're eating pizza, I thought it was a race. I don't see them walking very fast or running. I think they're just kind of leisurely walking to the next pizza.
They're too full of pizza.
I think so. But I think they're having fun. They're enjoying that. Well, filmmakers and stars hoping for an Oscar nomination gather in Toronto. And this weekend's top film makes a splash.
Daniel Nottingham now has your eye on entertainment.
The film Sully soared to the top of this weekend's box office. Tom Hanks stars in the drama that revisits the Miracle on the Hudson plane landing by pilot Chelsea Sullenberger. Several stars walked the red carpet at the Toronto International Film Festival over the weekend. The event marks the unofficial start to Oscar season. Several top films premiered, including the horror pick Blair Witch. The animated musical comedy Sing.
I just want to get this data to the world.
And Oliver Stone's film about NSA whistleblower Edward Snowden. The Toronto International Film Festival ends Sunday.
Now Storks deliver packages for cornerstore.com.
And move over Amazon. Storks are no longer delivering babies. They're dropping off packages from an online retail giant in the new animated film Storks. Things get tricky when one last baby shows up and has to be delivered before the mistake is discovered.
I'm going to be named chairman.
Kelsey Grammer plays the head stork. He's also a father to 6 children in real life.
I think the message is always still the same, though. Love your kids. Love them and be straight with them. And don't necessarily be their best friend. Be their parent.
Storks opens next Friday. That's your Eye on Entertainment. Danielle Nottingham, CBS News, Los Angeles.
Well, coming right up, a chance to lace up your shoes and help in the fight against juvenile diabetes.
How you can be a part of this year's One Walk next. Tomorrow's Mega Millions jackpot is $122 million, and Wednesday's Powerball jackpot is $222 million.
Welcome back. It's mid-morning on WKYT, and we're sure glad you're along on this Monday. About 200,000 people under the age of 20 are living with type 1 diabetes here in the U.S. And that's why the Juvenile Diabetes Research Foundation is holding its annual One Walk this month.
Sarah and Lucy Wilkerson know firsthand what living with diabetes is like, and we're happy to be joined by them to learn more about it. Welcome. Glad to have you in here today.
Thank you for having us.
Why did you become involved with this, the Juvenile Diabetes Foundation?
You want to answer that?
I don't know what to say.
Oh.
I bet you do. You're just having a little shy attack here.
JDRF is a great research foundation, and it's looking for a cure to make type 1 into type none, and we agree with that mission.
Lucy, you were diagnosed with juvenile diabetes about 3 years ago. Are you used to it now? Does it impact your life every day? What do you have to do?
I have to check a lot and calibrate a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Calibrate a lot?
What
does that mean?
That means when you have to calibrate your monitor and pump.
Mm-hmm.
So when you are type 1 diabetic, your pancreas doesn't produce any insulin. So you have to continuously monitor your blood sugar levels.
Mm-hmm.
And so you check your blood sugar with a monitor, and then if you have a pump, you calibrate it, and so it can deliver the insulin for you.
Mm-hmm. Now you're in elementary school in the 2nd grade, right? But this really hasn't slowed you down at all, right? You just do what you have to do, huh? Sounds good, yeah.
Well, tell us about the One Walk. How can people help?
How?
The Type 1 Walk is going to be September 24th, and it's to celebrate everyone that has type 1 diabetes or that has been involved, a caregiver or any of that matter. And they'll have bouncy houses, face painting, music, they'll have a breakfast, and then after the walk they'll have a tailgating party as well.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you look forward to that, huh?
Yeah.
All right. Should be a lot of fun. Do people need to pre-register, or how do they get involved if they'd like to help?
If they'd like to help, there is a website they can go to, and it has the event listed, and there's also different teams. Lucy has a team registered in the walk, and if they'd like to donate to any of the teams on that list, they're more than welcome to, or they can just come and enjoy the fun and activities.
All right. Well, good luck with it.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate it. Thanks
Appreciate
for
it. Now
coming.
you head back to school, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Well, keep it right here this mid-morning.
Going to check in with the Mr. Food Test Kitchen next and see what's cooking up here early in this brand new week.
We're glad you're with us today. They're working on a new way to make a familiar dish in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen today.
Right, they're called Monday's mashed potatoes, and it's easy and it really looks good.
One thing that we get asked quite often here in the Test Kitchen is if we have any recipes for those classic dishes that used to be served in school cafeterias. As a matter of fact, we do. So all this week we're taking a trip down memory lane, hairnets and all, as we recreate and even improve upon many of those favorites. One dish that seems to bring back all sorts of memories is mashed potatoes. So today, I'm going to share with you a from-scratch version that still makes the grades. After boiling a good amount of potatoes that we've peeled, we drain them really well and beat them until they're smooth. To that, we add some butter, a bit of milk, an egg, and a little salt and pepper, just like the lunch ladies did, but on a much smaller scale. And just like they did at my school, we put them in a pan and bake them off. And when they're hot, all you have to do is dish them out along with all your other favorites. And as a special treat, we could even top them off with more butter or brown gravy. To get this throwback recipe, all you have to do is go online and search for what we call Monday's mashed potatoes. I'm Howard with Kelly in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen, of course, wearing our hairnets, where today we found a classic creamy way for you to say, ooh, it's so good. All right, good? Mm-hmm. Love me taters.
different twist on mashed potatoes.
And surely you like mashed potatoes with the meat that you eat all the time.
Believe it or not, I just started liking mashed potatoes a couple years ago.
You just started liking them?
Really, my wife was like, "You're eating this?"
Working up to vegetables.
Yeah, well, make up for all those years that you didn't know what you were missing.
And every time I see mashed potatoes, I think of the Christmas Story. Remember, he slams his face in mashed potatoes and meatloaf, and you know we're roughly 100 days away from Christmas.
We're getting there.
That's your little tidbit for the day. Live sky camera. There's your shot outside. Blue skies. Things look really, really good. Now we're getting closer to fall, and you're feeling that in the air yesterday, and you'll be feeling it in the air today. Here's the setup. I mean, you really look across Ohio River Valley, go down into Mississippi Valley, off toward the Ozarks, work your way back down toward Tennessee and southeast. Southeast where you have a few clouds, but the rest of the region up toward the Great Lakes, it looks phenomenal. That's that huge dome of higher pressure sitting off toward our northeast. That's funneling in that drier, cooler air into the forecast as that front pushes southbound through the southeast at this moment. Now, as we go through the next couple of days, it kind of just lingers there. It really doesn't move that much. And so that's going to keep our temperatures at bay for the most part. Yes, we'll be above average, but it'll still feel pretty nice because humidity is going to be down. Temperatures are there in the 60s and 70s right now, and we go through your day right around 83 degrees this afternoon. That's a few degrees higher than yesterday, but still humidity is down. That's the key.
And that's great.
That's right.
We want to thank you so much for being with us on WKYT at Mid-Morning, and we hope you're back at noon.
We'll see you then. Make it a great day.